Now, clear, accurate. This is WCCO 4 News.
Really worries me.
If the unthinkable happens and a fire breaks out in your own home, could your children escape on their own? Well, if history is any judge, maybe not. Tonight, a first-of-its-kind dimension, fire drill. It will change the way you think about fire safety in your own home and tell you what you and your children need to know. Here's Trish Van Pilsum.
Your house is burning. You've got 3 minutes to get out. Could your kids do it? The kids of Poplar Bridge Elementary know as much, if not more, about fire safety than most.
Stop, drop, and roll.
But Dimension found that reciting it and actually doing it are two very different things. How do we know? We asked 4 Poplar Bridge students to put into practice at home what they'd learned at school about getting out of a fire.
We're actually going to do a little fire drill, okay?
Okay.
What you'll see tonight, surprised parents
This really worries me.
and fire officials.
Very scary for parents.
Before we stage the home fire drills, we talk with each child, give them an idea of what's coming.
We thought maybe we'd come by in the night and do a little practice drill, if that'd be okay.
Because we don't want the drill to be too frightening. We do, however, want the drill to seem real. Harmless theater smoke in the hallways outside their bedrooms will force them to make decisions about the safest way out. The Bloomington Fire Marshal oversees the drills, which were choreographed with the help of a Bloomington school psychologist. A firefighter is posted outside the children's windows to make sure they don't climb out or jump. We start with 10-year-old Chandler and discover a problem right away. The smoke detector doesn't work. But Chandler picks up on the unusual sound of the smoke machine. She stays calm, jumps out of bed, and runs out of the house to a family meeting spot outside. Trouble is, she runs right through the smoky hallway.
If it was a real emergency, that could have been pretty tragic, because one breath of that kind of smoke during a fire can cause you just to faint and be on the floor.
At least Chandler tried to save herself. Next stop, 10-year-old Rainey's house. Here, there are several smoke detectors that work, but 5 minutes later, there is still no sign of Rainey at either her bedroom door or window.
Do you see anything movement inside?
Her dad goes in to make sure she's awake.
Rainey, there's smoke in the house. What are we gonna do?
Rainey follows her dad out again, right into the smoke. She tells us she didn't recognize the sound of the smoke alarms.
I heard them. I wasn't used to that sort of thing.
We didn't shine tonight.
Sam is a Boy Scout who knows where to head if there's a fire in his house.
In case it was like upstairs, like go out the window.
But watch how quickly all that goes out the window during what feels like a real fire. The smoke detectors fail to awaken Sam. His mom tries.
Sam, this is the drill. The alarms are going off. Show me what you're going to do now.
Precious time passes.
It's smoky. The alarms are going off. Sam, what are you going to do? It's a fire drill. I'm scared. Come on, Sam, you need to get out.
That's kind of scary for a mom to say, oh gosh, now if I weren't here, you wouldn't have stayed in bed, would you?
Which brings us to Mitchell, who is also 10. Problem 1, the smoke detector in his second-floor apartment doesn't work. The fire marshal activates one he's brought. The apartment fills with smoke. 55 seconds later, Mitchell awakens, but simply covers his ears and stays in bed. Less than 3 minutes later, smoke has crept into his bedroom and rises. Mitchell is in the top bunk. 9 minutes into the drill, Mitchell's room is filled with smoke. He's made no move to save himself. 12 minutes into the drill, Mitchell's mom tells him he must get out, but on his own.
You need to get out.
Mom.
Come on, get out.
I can barely see.
She is desperate to know he can do it.
I can't see anything.
Nearly 14 minutes pass. In a real fire, Mitchell would be dead. This is not easy to watch, not for you, not for us.
I think reality sunk in there too. I think everyone in the room realized, you know, those what seemed to be simple steps a week ago were just forgotten.
And certainly not for Mitchell's mother.
The fact that he just froze and there was nothing that he was going to do.
But it's better to learn it now than after a real fire. And as you'll see in a few minutes, the payoff is huge.
When you read about kids that we lose in fires, people always ask that question, you know, why are they still in the bedroom? Why did they not get out? Because they don't know what to do. They do like what happened tonight. They freeze. And they wait for somebody else because somebody's always been there before to help them.
There's one reason these kids could not get out of their homes. None had ever practiced.
No excuse. You know, I just haven't done it.
That's something we're getting around to, I think.
And so the Bloomington Fire Department leaves our families with several things. New smoke detectors, if theirs didn't work, and specific instructions for the children.
Hear that beeping ever again? That's pretty serious stuff. Okay, so you want to get out of bed, low on the floor, crawl over to the door. Feels hot, then you know the fire's right outside. You don't want to open the door. When it's cool, you peek out there. If you see smoke, close it quick, turn the light on and go to your window. Open the shades so people can see that you're in your room.
The idea that kids can learn to react during an emergency is the reason schools hold regular fire drills, although schools rarely burn. Consider this comparison. There were more than 3,000 house fires in Minnesota in 1999. There were only 10 fires in Minnesota schools, and that includes colleges and universities. 50 people died in house fires that year. Nobody has ever died at a school fire for as long as the state of Minnesota has been keeping records. Now, despite those numbers, let's see where this group of third graders is most prepared to deal with a fire. Now, how many of you have done a fire drill at your school? All 25. Now, how many of you have done real fire drills at your home? Just 2. Even third graders can tell these numbers don't make sense.
You should do more fire drills at home.
Each child agrees to practice.
I feel better and not so worried.
Rehearsing with their families what they learned during the Dimension drills.
Good job. I think we're ready.
Now watch what happens when Dimension goes back to each child's home to repeat the drill. Watch Chandler. Rainey.
She's at the window here.
And Sam. He awakens as soon as a new smoke detector in his room goes off and is at his window within seconds. But mostly watch Mitchell, who in the span of a couple of weeks moves from paralysis to complete confidence. He awakens immediately, hops from the bed, stays low, checks the door, even stuffs clothing from his hamper under the door to buy himself more time. He remembers to turn on his light. He's at his window in just over 1 minute. It is a sight worth celebrating.
Excellent. I'm very happy. We practiced a lot. Good job. Come here. Good job.
Thank you.
For Dimension, I'm Trish Van Pilsum.
To stay safe, you should do this kind of fire drill with your family twice a year. Check your smoke detectors, of course, for batteries. Do that every month. And sleep with your bedroom doors closed to keep the smoke out. For tips on how to get rid of your house fire, go to the fire story on WCCO.com or send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Fire Escape, WCCO TV, Post Office Box 50066, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55405-0066.